Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Brandon here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Grant, and he's selling his display advertising and Amazon Associates business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Grant, and how are you doing today?
Great, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really nice to have you on the call, and I'm really excited to talk to you about this business you've created. But before we get into the details, let's give a general overview of the business. So it is a display advertising and Amazon Associates business in the kitchenware niche, created in January 2011. The average monthly revenue for the business is $5,081 and makes an average of $4,781 per month in net profits. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 51043 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing and start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. Now that I've given a general overview of the business, what's included with the sale is the primary domain and all site content and files, 2 additional domains used as 301 redirects, an email list with over 1,463 subscribers stored in MailerLite, social media accounts for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube, standard operating procedures for writers, video production, and keyword research, 210 recipes which are stored in a Google Drive, and 1 Signal push notifications with over 6,000 subscribers. So, Grant, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Sure. Basically, we acquire websites that require optimizations in content, tech, and link building specifically. We've bought upwards of 10 sites now, and this particular site is actually below our threshold for portfolio value, and we're listing it for sale.
Yeah, that's really great to hear your background story and why it is that you're deciding to sell the business at this time. But let's take a few steps back. So where did you get the idea to start this specific business? Was there something about this niche that you had noticed while running some of the other projects at the same time?
The majority of our decisions are based on data, which comes from switching from a client perspective. We were doing client work about 3 years ago, and then we switched to our own portfolio and started acquiring sites and building them out and scaling them. Some of our assets at this point are bigger, so 500K plus, which is where we're focused now. And on this site, we are looking to let it go simply because it's under our threshold.
Okay, gotcha. I noticed that you have 2 monetizations with this business, display advertising and Amazon Associates. Which side of these monetizations would you say is generating the most revenue for the business at this time?
So display generates 97% of the revenue.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so it's entirely monetized by display pretty much.
Okay, so most of it is coming from display advertising. Amazon Associates, was that something you added into the business model recently?
It's actually something we took out of the business model. I'm not a big fan of it myself, and the rates don't justify the revenue. For instance, I think when we acquired this site, there was a bit more Amazon. We took it out and scaled the display side of it.
Okay, gotcha. Now, was there anything that you learned about this business that you plan on applying to your other projects as well?
It's more the other way around. We learned from our existing projects to apply to this project. As I mentioned, we own numerous websites, so we know how to scale content. We know how to build topic clusters, and we have a pretty good roadmap for 2021. And I think those things will transfer over to the new owner as well, and in an easy way through standard operating procedures.
Oh, that's really great to see that you were able to take some of that knowledge from these other projects and put it into this business and push it to its full, optimization. Now, on the flip side, was there anything with this business that you tried and it just didn't give you the ROI that you were expecting?
Not really, but again, we focus specifically on data. So when you look at data, you work towards what's working, right? Versus just taking guesses and trying things randomly. One of the things we did when we first acquired the site, I think it had upwards of 600 pieces of content, is we trimmed down about 300 of them just because they were not generating traffic and really not doing anything. So things like that, for instance.
Okay. Now, where would you say that a majority of your traffic comes from then? Is most of it coming through organic search traffic?
No, actually, as it stands right now, this site generates about 50 to 60% of its traffic from Pinterest or social media. and about 20% from organic search. And that was one of the things we targeted when we acquired the site. It was probably upwards of 80% socials when we acquired it. And we've been growing the organic side of it. That's where we kind of excel. So we started a long form content in Q4, so October 31st. And we've been taking 300, 500 word content pieces and optimizing them to 1,500 words to 2,000 words and just optimizing them from top down, basically, and growing organic traffic through Google. As it stands, about 13% of our inventory has been optimized, give or take.
Yeah, that's really great to see that you've taken that initiative to spread out some of the diversification in the traffic as well, too. And now, are you doing anything as far as marketing with your email list? Is that monetized at this time, or is that solely just collecting subscribers through an opt-in on the page?
We do collect email, but we don't really use it. It's not our focus. We do appreciate the push notices from OneSignal, for instance, because when we publish or post content, it's immediately pushed out to those 6,000 individuals or 6,000 plus. We do believe that should be continue to grow that for sure. And then, of course, socials is more of our target as well. Not email much, and we don't do the affiliate, so we don't see the need to really push the email side.
Gotcha. And then are you doing anything else in terms of marketing or optimizing any other channels outside of Pinterest and the OneSignal push notification subscribers?
Not really, no marketing, not really, just content, focusing on content and increasing content positioning.
Okay, completely understandable. Now, hypothetically speaking, if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways that you would personally try and grow it?
So as I mentioned before, I think we're sitting at about 60% social traffic, 20% organic traffic. Ideally, we'd like to see that even out, more like 50-50. And we're working towards that right now. I already see like a 50% increase over last year in organic traffic. And as we continue to push out more and more optimized posts, our organics will just continue to grow month over month.
Yeah, that's really great to see. Now, can you just tell us a little bit about the type of work or the typical work tasks that you're performing on the business on a weekly basis at this time?
Yeah, of course. So as it stands now, we dedicate about 1 hour per day, so 5 days a week for Pinterest. That typically involves just adding 5 new pins to Pinterest per day, so an hour a day, 5 hours a week. Beyond that, there's some work goes into content research, keyword research, and then we outsource our writing to our in-house writing team. So minimal work as it stands right now compared to some of our other projects.
Okay. And then just so our listeners and maybe potential buyers that are listening to this call are aware, I'm sure that this in-house content team is not continuing with the business. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. On that note, we do have standard operating procedures we can pass along to help the new owner build out their team.
Perfect. And that was going to be my next question for you, to make sure that anyone listening, that they're aware that you do have those SOPs that are coming with the business as well too. Now, do you feel that there's any particular skill set that a buyer should have prior to acquiring this business?
Obviously, it would be advantageous to have skills in SEO, content, and so on. But I think with the detailed standard operating procedures that we have, that pretty much anyone could take this over.
Okay, that's good to see that you're pretty confident as far as someone that might not be familiar with the exact skill set that you currently have, but they can still take this over knowing that there's SOPs included. Now, what do you feel are some of the potential risks associated with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
I can't think of anything that pop up simply because it's been running since 2011 and it's stable. As it stands, we don't have a big position in Google and we haven't really been infected by the algo updates or whatnot. I mean, obviously that could be a factor, but again, we're just starting to grow that side of the business and it seems to be working. So from what I can see, limited or no risks on my side.
Okay. That's a very good answer, because this is usually something that most content site owners will mention is the Google algorithm updates. But because the fact that you, as you've said, that you've been slowly growing this channel, it's a limited risk on that front. So that's always good to see. So are you willing to commit to a non-compete, meaning any of your other projects or future businesses down the road, you'll stay out of this specific niche?
Yes, definitely. No worries.
Perfect. And then how much support are you willing to offer potential buyers? Are you going with the typical 30 days of Skype and email support, or did you have something in addition that you would like to add on to that?
I think we agreed to 30 days. On that note, too, we will help the new owner with a content shift if they need time to ramp up their own internal writer setup.
Got it. Perfect. I'm sure our listeners and any potential buyers that are listening to this can also see the value in that support you're willing to make sure that this business continues on and is successful. Now, are you open to something negotiating like an earnout where you'll receive a large portion of the sales price up front and then smaller payments closing out the deal over the course of a couple months after that?
Yes, anything that makes sense is we're open.
Okay, perfect. Now, just a few more sideline questions for you. Is there any particular software or tools that you used at the start of running this business?
I'd say key tools would definitely be Ahrefs, Surfer SEO. Those are two, given the content element, keyword research, and then also writing optimized content. And Canva for Pinterest. Those are the three key softwares.
Okay. And I'm very familiar with those as well. We use those on a daily basis. So yeah, it's a really solid mention and great tools that are really helpful, especially in the content space as well too. Now, why do you think that this business model is great for those who are first getting started in online business?
I think in this case, the standard operating procedures would certainly help someone just starting out, husband-wife combo, a new buyer, anyone who wants to kind of jump into display content as a whole, maybe has an interest in this specific niche. They could elevate this to another level completely.
Yeah, that's really great to see. And it's something that we hear quite often when it comes to the content space is the fact that, even if you're new to the online business world, that it is something that you can learn fairly quickly in a short amount of time. Now, final question to wrap this up for you, Grant. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you feel that your business is worth buying?
Personally, because I don't really want to sell it. Ultimately, it's being sold because of the portfolio value. If we don't sell it, it will be rolled back into our portfolio and scaled and then possibly relisted next year for another $100,000 or $200,000 more.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it's always great to see that you're walking away from a business that you do want to grow and want to see become successful, but at the same time it's based on a portfolio move. So yeah, completely understand there. And that pretty much wraps it up for this call, Grant. Was there anything that you'd like to add that I might have missed?
No, that was amazing. I appreciate it.
Yep, same here. And all right, everyone, thanks for listening. To learn more and to see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 51043. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked the listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.